Hello YouTube, Mysterious Melantha here. I'm here to make a video about my Goth CD collection. I'm going to be talking about some of the bands, like what Goth era or decade they're from, and just kind of what Goth genre they are. So I'm going to get right into it right now. I'll start with the old OG goth bands from the 80s. I personally am not the biggest fan of post-punk and like early goth rock. It really depends on the band and it really depends on the album and the song. I like some of it, but not all of it. I prefer darkwave more than anything, but I still do have a few albums of these older 80s goth bands. So I'm going to share those with you if you're interested in like getting into goth and you want to know some of the original like bands. The main five ones that a lot of people will mention are The Cure, Siouxsie and the Banshees, and Bauhaus. Bauhaus was probably the first goth band that ever existed, and Joy Division. Those two were from the late 70s, and they were like some of the first goth bands ever. And then the other one is, the Sisters of Mercy. Those are like the main ones. And like the main 80s like staples of trad goth. So anyway, I only have three of those here. I have the best of Siouxsie and the Banshees. And I got this CD because this one was the only one that had like all the Siouxsie and the Banshees songs that I like on it. I really like, so This Wheel's on Fire is one of my favorites. Christine, Spellbound, and Kiss Them For Me. It sounds more like an 80s pop song, that one, but I still really enjoy it. Their cover of Dear Prudence by the Beatles is really good. But you can totally go check them out and maybe you'll like more of their songs than I do. And then I also have two Sisters of Mercy CDs. I prefer this one the most. This is my favorite one by them. This is Floodland. And my favorite tracks on here are Dominion, Mother Russia, and Flood One. And then I also have Vision Thing. I haven't really listened to this one all that much. I do like the song More off of this one. And then I don't have any Bauhaus CDs and I don't have any Joy Division CDs because I personally am not the biggest fan of their music. You can judge me for that. I don't care. I've tried so many times to listen to their music and I just can't get into it personally, but you might like it if you like post-punk. I would recommend them if you like post-punk because they are like both of them are like the first goth bands to kick off the genre. But anyway, I'm going to go into The Cure and probably their most popular album, at least as far as I know. You hear a lot of people talk about Disintegration. And I'm not entirely sure if this is their most popular album, but I'm just guessing that it is because I've heard it talked about so much in the goth community. It's a really good album. I think it's my favorite Cure album. And I would say my favorite tracks off of this are probably, my absolute favorite is Fascination Street. I love that song. Love Song is a good song. Pictures of You is a really good song. But yeah, I just enjoy this whole album. Oh, and Lullaby. that has a really cool music video. I really like that one. And then I have Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. And my favorite song off of this one is Just Like Heaven. And then this is my other favorite Cure album, Wish. I really like Friday I'm in Love and Open. Those are my favorite tracks. This is like, I think this is a singles or best of album. It's called Galore. Just a compilation of a lot of their songs, and it has a bunch from other albums. I haven't really listened to it because I've listened to the other CDs, and I got some of these Cure CDs from my mom actually because she didn't want them anymore. So, and since I collect CDs, I was like, oh, I'll take them because she really likes the Cure, and she actually saw them in concert in the 90s, which is pretty cool. But anyway, I also have the Cure Pornography. I know it's kind of an unfortunate name for an album, but it's a good album. It has nothing to do with pornography. My favorite song is 100 Years. And I also have this album as a record. And then my last Cure album is The Top. My favorite song is Shake Dog Shake. Has a lot of like, I don't know, I would say kind of happier sounding songs on it, like very 80s kind of sounding stuff. It's kind of an argument in the goth community, like if some of these bands are actually goth, because some of their albums are different genres, and I would say like The Cure, some of their albums are kind of post-punk, but some of their albums are more like 80s pop kind of sound, because there's a lot of people, like just people who aren't even goth, and they like The Cure. Like my mom isn't a goth, but she loves The Cure, and there's a lot of people who know who they are. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to get off this tangent of the 80s goth bands, and I'm going to move on to the 90s ones. I think the 90s era of goth was my favorite for the music. Personally, I wish I could have been there. I'm a little too young to have experienced it by like a decade, unfortunately. But I'm still gonna enjoy it. And I have seen my favorite band in concert twice. And I'm about to talk about them right now. So, my favorite darkwave band is Clan of Xymox. This is one of their first albums, I think. One of the older ones for sure. I think it was from the 80s. And I would say my favorite song off of this is Stranger, and I also really like A Day. And then I have Clan of Xymox, The Best Of. My favorite songs off of this one are Jasmine and Rose. That's probably just one of my favorite songs by them in general. I've seen them play it live twice. It was amazing. They did a really great job of performing Jasmine and Rose. And then I also really like This World, and Stranger is again on this album. I think it's a remastered version though. I think this is probably one of my favorite albums. In Love We Trust. I think my favorite song is Judas and On a Mission. And then there's Matters of Mind, Body, and Soul. I would say my favorite tracks on here are The Climate's Changed and She's Falling in Love. Now this is the album. This is the first album I got by Clan of Xymox when I started really getting into them. This is one of my favorites because I've listened to it so many times. Days of Black, and I got to see their Days of Black tour in 2019, so that was pretty cool. And I would say my favorite songs off this one are definitely Loneliness and Your Kiss, for sure. And then I have Clan of Xymox, Limbo. Wasn't really a fan of like the theme of this album because I was so sick of the political stuff going around or people were talking about with COVID. But I did enjoy like the music in some of these songs, just not like the theme and everything. This is probably, I think this is their newest album that came out a couple of years ago. And that's Fighter on the Wall, which is the album that came out before that one. I really like She. She is a really good song, and All I Ever Know and When We Were Young are my favorites off of this one. So yeah, I have 7 Clan of Xymox CDs, and I'd like to get more. I really want to get Medusa. That's a really good album. And then I'm going to go into my other favorite darkwave band, besides Clan of Xymox, which is The Frozen Autumn. Oops, I dropped my CD. Okay, I just got these CDs recently, and I've been really excited about them ever since. These are like the only ones I could find. There's like one other one, and I'll probably get that one soon. But yeah, these are the only 2 CDs I could find by them, unfortunately. But these are really good albums, at least. I have Chirality, I think that's how it's pronounced. And my favorite tracks on this one are Breathtaking Beauty, Sidereal Solitude, In the Golden Air, and Victory. And then we have The Fellow Traveler. My favorite tracks off of this one are I Love You But I've Chosen Synthesizers, The Twin Planet, and Gray Metal Wings. And then my last set of 90s goth band CDs. There's a lot more 90s bands that I really, really like. I just haven't gotten the CDs yet. But for now, I'm just showing you my CD collection. So we have London After Midnight. Selected Scenes from the End of the World was their first album. And my favorite song is Sacrifice. And I also really like The Black Cat. There is an extended version of the CD which has a couple more songs that I really like on it, but I ended up just getting the regular one instead of the deluxe version. So maybe I'll get that some other time. I don't know. And then Psychomagnet. Some people said that this went down more of an industrial kind of music path. I kind of would agree that it's a little more electronic, more dark wave, kind of, I would say maybe a little bit like industrial too, I guess. I would say my favorite songs of this one are Kiss and Blessing for sure. That's a very unique, beautiful, sort of ethereal sounding song. Which the word ethereal brings up my next genre of goth music, ethereal wave. Personally, my other favorite genre of goth music. But I'm going to start with probably one of the first bands, if not the first band that kicked off the ethereal wave genre, Cocteau Twins, which some people say that they are also shoegaze, or what was that other genre? I can't remember. So yeah, shoegaze or ethereal wave, whatever. This is Heaven in Las Vegas. This is my favorite album by them. My favorite song is, let's see, I have a few. 50-50 Clown, Pitch the Baby, I Wear Your Ring, and Frau Frau Foxes and Midsummer Fires. Those are my favorite tracks. And then I also have, I haven't really listened to this one too much yet, but this Cocteau Twins record. Personally, my favorite ethereal band is Adam's Grey Solace. I love how, like, just calming and beautiful the songs are that this band makes. Her vocals are really beautiful, really good singer. So I have Definian, which is my favorite Autumn's Grey Solace album. My favorite track off here is Nefara, I think it's pronounced. And then I also really like Sawo and Zenith. And then we have Eiffeline, I think that's how it's pronounced. And I really like Faint Young Sun and Phobic Sea off this album. And then we have Riverine. My favorite song off this one is Human Shell. I was very excited a couple Christmases ago because my boyfriend ended up finding these CDs for me, and I didn't know that we could even find Adam's Grey Solace CDs. But that was a really cool gift. I also have this dream pop compilation album, and this is the genre I was trying to think of a couple minutes ago, and I couldn't think of what I was trying to say. So dream pop, and Cocteau Twins is on here, one of their songs anyway. I don't really know how I felt about this album. I haven't really listened to a whole lot of like dream pop specifically. I might have to give this another listen, but it's kind of adjacent to what I'm talking about with Ethereal Wave, so I thought I'd just like show it on here anyway, even though I haven't really like listened to it too much. And then there's Love Spirals Downward. But something really bizarre about this is from the 90s, and it has this like old thing in here where you can order CDs like they did in the 90s, and this says like 97 on here. This is how old this CD is. That's like a year before I was born. My favorite song is Last Classic. That's all I have for Ethereal Wave right now. I mean, there's some other bands that I might talk about later. I'm gonna make a different video for like bands that I would recommend, but I don't have CDs for. So yeah. And lastly, I'm gonna talk about just the rest of the stuff that I have. Most of these are like modern goth bands. Okay, I think this one was from the 90s or early 2000s. Diary of Dreams. It's kind of like a mix of darkwave and industrial. It's very electronic. I really like Decipher Me. That's my favorite track off of this album. And then my boyfriend really likes Seraphim Shock. I personally only like a couple of their songs, but I'm still gonna just put them on this video anyway. And then Bats in the Belfry. My favorite song off of this album, it's called Pendulum, by the way, I forgot to mention that, is my favorite song is A Sleeping Place. Okay, and then like these are all like really modern goth bands from the 2010s and 2020s. Except for this one, I forgot about this one. I think this was early 2000s. This is The Last Dance. Whispers and Rage is the album. My favorite song is Nightmares off this album. I also really like Breathe. That's a good song too. This was one of the first goth CDs that I bought, other than the Xymox one. Anyway, I will start by talking about she passed away. Belirti Geese. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. They are a Turkish goth darkwave band. So I probably butchered the album name because it's not in English, but I do enjoy this album a lot. None of the songs are in English, they're all in Turkish, but my favorite song is Kasvetli Kutlama. I think that's how you pronounce it. I apologize if I butchered that pronunciation. And then we have Twin Tribes. My favorite song off this album is The River, and I also really like Shrine. I actually saw these guys in concert, and they were really good. I'm actually going to go see them again next month, so I'm really excited about that. That's where I got the CD, was from their concert. And then another band that played with Twin Tribes at their concert that I went to was Panic Priest. This is Psychogoria is the name of the album. Panic Priest was also very good live, and it was the first time I'd ever heard his music. So yeah, definitely check him out if you haven't heard of this band yet. And then we have Drab Majesty. This album is called The Demonstration. My favorite songs are Dot in the Sky, 39 by Design, and Behind the Wall. This band is, you can tell that they're very 80s inspired because their music just sounds like it's straight out of the 80s. It's really cool. I really enjoy it. And then there's Lebanon Hanover. This is Let Them Be Alien. My favorite song off this album is True Romantics. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this band is minimal wave, not dark wave. And then this is a band that I went that played a show with Clan of Xymox. They're called Autumn. They're a local Minnesota goth band, and they've been around for like I think 20 or 30 years, but they're just a smaller, like more local to the state they're in kind of goth band. So if you've never heard of Autumn, definitely go check them out. They're really good. My favorite song off of this album is The Fall. And I also really like My Last Confession. And then I saw Autumn 3 times, twice with Clan of Xymox, and then once at a different concert. And they played with 2 other local Minnesota goth bands. One of them was called Stranger Gallery. This is their only album so far, and it only has 3 songs on it. I think it's an EP. But it was really enjoyable watching them play in concert. I think they performed really good. And then they had another project called the Poor Weather Club. So we got a CD to support them too. And then the last thing that I have, I didn't really know how to categorize it because it's a compilation album, so I'm just going to put it at the end here. This is Goth. It's a compilation of random bands. And I don't know, like, if I would consider some of these songs goth at all. Some of them are more industrial or, like, more alternative. A lot of them are remixes. It's kind of weird. I don't think it's a very good representation of goth music. But I'm just going to put it on here anyway because it goes with the rest of the CDs. So yeah, that's what I got for goth bands. I also have a couple goth adjacent bands from the 80s. I'll just add them at the end here. These are some new wave bands that a lot of goths enjoy. So there's Depeche Mode. This is their Violator album. My favorite song is Enjoy the Silence, and I also enjoy Policy of Truth. And then I also have their singles album. And then Tears for Fears, Elemental. Break It Down Again is my favorite song off this album. And then songs from The Big Chair, Tears for Fears. I have this one both in CD and tape form. This is one of the only tapes I have that's related to like 80s new wave or goth sort of music. So this was a cool find because I found it at the thrift store. But yeah, and then my favorite song off this album is Shout. So yeah, that's my goth CD collection. And I hope you enjoyed the video and you maybe learned about some new bands today. Maybe you learned about some newer goth bands that you never heard of before. Maybe you're new to goth and you learned about some old goth bands that you didn't know about. But I hope it was a good, useful video for introducing people to some new music if you're interested in getting into the subculture or want to learn a little bit more about some of the bands. So yeah, I'm probably going to do some more videos like this. I'll probably do one on my industrial band CD collection and then one on my metal band CD collection, which is a much bigger collection than my goth one. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and go check out some new music. Maybe check out some of these bands if you're interested. Go see some local concerts if you can, if you have enough money to, if you want to get out of the house, do something. I don't know. Concerts are really fun, and I would recommend supporting bands if you can, especially if they're if you're a goth or a metalhead and there's a local goth or metal band that's coming to your town and performing. But yeah, so that's all I have to say right now. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.